This is Time Warner Cable's local edition. My name is Brad Pomerance. We are joined by Ari Gutierrez. She is with the Latino Equality Alliance, which is what?
Well, it's a nonprofit organization that was formed by grassroots community leaders, really in response to Proposition 8 and the realization that, number one, that we needed to do more work in communities of color around LGBT education.
And let's talk about Prop 8, because I remember those days. And I remember my wife and I had a friend, they were a gay couple, and the Friday before the election, they got married. So why are you gonna get married? Prop 8 will never pass. It did pass, which took away marriage equality. And when we analyzed the statistics of the voting patterns, like you said, it appeared that communities of color were voting in favor of Prop 8 in numbers that were a bit of a surprise to some.
I think, yes, the way it landed, the way it ended up, we lacked the majority vote in some of those communities. The Asian community did vote over 50%, but the encouraging part, as disappointing as that day was for all of us, is that as compared to 2000, when Prop 22, which was a similar proposition, went to the ballot, we moved from like a 20% to a 48%.
Right.
So that's the part that was encouraging to us, saying, you know what, if we just put a little more work in this and more public education, a little more, structured education elements to it, that we can get to a majority support, even in communities of color.
And as we speak today, it's hard to deny that poll after poll after poll, at least in California, shows support for marriage equality.
Correct. And it also is among Catholics, is a majority support.
What about amongst Latinos?
Amongst Latinos as well. Now, that's polls. Now let's talk real life, And so the work that we've been doing in communities of color like Boyle Heights and Southeast LA, you have a lot of, old school parents who are, maybe they're immigrant or they come with the unassimilated knowledge. Also, the other thing that we wanted to address as a Latino organization is that a lot of these community influencers, like parents, get their information in Spanish. And we really hadn't been doing a good job of LGBT education and informing work in Spanish language, and anything that Spanish language media in Spanish, so it's all about presenting it in a cultural way for people to understand.
I'm wondering if the fact that LGBT Latinos are really breaking through on the political front will be of benefit to your organization. I think about Robert Garcia, recently elected to be the mayor of Long Beach, the second largest city in all of LA County. Ricardo Lara, influential state senator. I mean, the list goes on and on about LGBT Latinos and Latinas that are at the table.
Right, and we think that's wonderful. It's actually been, part of the work that we've been doing to support them as candidates, but also to educate the community so that any negative information that gets put out against candidates like that, or an individual or a child in a high school, is not taken, for granted to be true just because somebody said it. That's bullying, and there's been bullying of candidates, just as there's bullying of kids, both at school and in the community, and even at home by parents.
Her name is Ari Gutierrez. She is a founding co-chair of the Latino Equality Alliance. If you want to learn more about it, go to LatinoEqualityAlliance.com. I'm Brad Pomerance. It's Time Warner Cable's local edition.